Today we will discuss pulse width modulation and demodulation lab experiment. So what is pulse width modulation? In pulse width modulation, the time duration, that is T is constant, only width of the pulse is varying in accordance with the message signal or analog input signal. If analog input signal amplitude is high, then width of the pulse is large. When analog input amplitude is low, that time width of the pulse is reduced. It is totally dependent on input analog signal. So that is pulse width modulation. This is the experiment of pulse width modulation. We are using op-amp as a comparator, where we have two signals. One signal sawtooth waveform, that is 600 Hz 15 volt peak to peak. We are supplying from this signal generator. Another 100 Hz to 150 Hz sine wave 10 volt peak to peak. So both signals are added here and it is given to pin number 3 of the op-amp. And pin number 2 is ground. It is comparing with the ground. So we can observe the waveform here. When we have a positive or high amplitude of input signal, that time the width of the pulse is maximum. When voltage of analog input is less, that time we have less amplitude, less width of the pulse. So this is pulse width modulation experiment. Normally this width can be controlled to a DC motor speed. So where we can control DC motor speed. So that is the application of pulse width modulation. So now we will move to demodulation circuit. So demodulation circuit consists of a diode and followed by RC filter. It is nothing but your analog detector. So we can observe demodulation output by setting the capacitor value by capacitance box. We can observe demodulation output. By observing the demodulation output. This is the experiment of pulse width modulation and demodulation. Thank you.